Morning, this is Bodywise Bodywork, joining you, wow, without eyeglasses today, that's fun. Um, Welcome, happy, what is it, November 29th, and I'm excited to be in Bothell, Washington today. I just want to remind you that Bodywise is designed to help you find the cause of your pain or problem. And today we're discussing pain and symptoms. What you see is what you get, and how we can see differently. And I'll be using examples that aren't necessarily pain and body examples to begin with, just so that you can get an idea of what we're discussing today. Happy post-Thanksgiving. I hope everyone is well and had a wonderful time. Just before Thanksgiving, I posted a really fun note, and it said, pray for the most benevolent outcome. And I hope that everyone's Thanksgiving was full of prayer and full of benevolence and had a great outcome. I'd like to do a spout about this morning. I had a great weekend, and I am going to thank Mother Nature because there have been hummingbirds flying around. I was able to get an awesome slow motion video of a hummingbird flying. A spout about Malacca Strand, who let me know that anything greater than a 4-to-1 ratio of water to sugar is too difficult for hummingbirds to process. So I'll be changing the liquid in my hummingbird feeder today when we're done with the show, actually, so that I don't kill off any hummingbirds because the sugar is too strong. So thanks to Malacca Strand. Welcome to those who have joined us this morning. Peace out to Kim Lillian. Hope you're well. And I was just chatting about you and Horsehaven at Bear Creek last night. Hope things are going well there. Haven't spoken with you in a while, but I hope you and Magic are doing great. And the weather is beginning to change. Back east, just outside of Syracuse, New York, my mother got snow before Thanksgiving, and I hear that there's so much rain now that the snow is completely gone. So let's hope for a white Christmas. My kids would love a white Christmas this year. Into our content today, I just want to speak with you about cause and effect. Aristotle, that crazy great guy that he was, talks about the 4 causes, and we'll get into the 4 causes in future programs. But one cause that we spend a lot of time thinking about is the end cause, or the end result of what we're looking at. And Aristotle has other causes and effects. Cause being what is the nature of something. So there is a statue and it's bronzed. So the cause of that color in something happens to be due to a material, that type of thing. But today we're going to talk about cause and effect and what you're seeing and what painful symptoms you have and what the true cause is and how you go about discovering what that is. I'll use a basic example. This morning, walking through my house after the kids left for school, I looked down on the floor of the bathroom to find a pair of underwear and a pair of pajamas. And in looking at that underwear and pajamas on the bathroom floor, one might say the cause of those articles of clothing on the floor of the bathroom is my child. In this case, my youngest child, named Rowan. However, one must look beyond that initial cause. I could say that it is my son who left his clothes on the floor of the bathroom. However, one must look beyond the initial cause to discover what the true cause is. The true cause is looking at why he chose to take his clothes off in the bathroom, and he chose to do that and not take his clothes off in the bedroom where he woke up. Why did he do that? He actually chose to read his book in bed this morning instead of getting up and getting dressed. Why did he choose to read his book? Because he was tired and didn't want to get ready for school. Why didn't he want to get ready for school, and why was he tired? Because he fell asleep last night after 9 o'clock. So about 9:30 is too late for that child. Why did he fall asleep at 9:30? Because his father was reading to him, and they love the book that they're reading. Why were they reading for so long? Because of their joy of reading. So not only did he go to bed reading a book, but he also woke up reading a book, and he's tired. He was reading a book, he was up, and his dad was reading to him late because we did not start the process for them to get ready for bed until 8:30, and we should start that process at 8:15. So getting their teeth brushed and getting their pajamas on at 8:30 takes about 10 or 15 minutes because of the process that we have in place. So it wasn't until 8:45 that the book started being read. So if you actually think about the fact that I'm tracking why there are clothes on the bathroom floor, you can see that the cause is not just because there is a child who left his clothes on the bathroom floor, but it's deeper. There are many more actions that created that final cause. And in our lives, when we're talking about painful symptoms, we are not often able to follow, to track back the depth of the cause that created the effect that we're currently experiencing. I encourage you to practice looking carefully at the causes and effects in your life, because they may not be what you believe them to be. They aren't what they seem to be. So what I'm seeing with regard to the clothes on the floor of the bathroom is just a snapshot in time that does not indicate all of the things that led up to that final cause being my child not getting dressed and ready for bed early enough so that they could read long enough so that they could get enough sleep so that he would wake up and get dressed in the correct place. This is true of lots of things. Their beds were not made this morning. Only one got their teeth brushed, not the other one, right? It's a crazy cycle that actually didn't start this morning. It started last night. And even more importantly, I can talk about what happened last night and the events that led up to last night, except it's not just what happened before they went to bed, but it's what happened before that hour. So what happened at 8, what happened at 7, what happened at 6. And actually, it can go as far back as what were the parenting practices that I put in place that led to this point in time that I'm waiting until 8 o'clock, waiting until 8:15 or 8:30 to actually start the process of brushing their teeth. So it's not looking at the clothes on the floor and saying those clothes belong to my child and so he is not responsible, he's not taking care of them. But in fact, what I'm seeing is actually a cause that goes back to myself. It has to do with my parenting principles. It has to do with what I believe. It has to do with how I managed my day yesterday, and now today I'm seeing clothes on the floor in the bathroom. That is also true of our symptoms. Often clients come to me, for example, they'll have a problem with their knee. A man came to me recently who had his knee replaced, and the symptoms that he had with regard to losing the cartilage, and then, of course, everyone's heard the bone-on-bone diagnosis that doctors give. And he said, of course, I had to have my knee replaced. And that's true. I support people who require those kinds of invasive surgeries to support their health and well-being. And what's interesting is to look at the cause that contributed to why he ended up having bone rubbing against bone. And I say that because it doesn't happen overnight unless there's some sort of dramatic trauma like a car accident or some other kind of thing that creates a bone-on-bone situation so quickly. So if someone has a symptom that has been built up over time, often they're ignoring the initial signs that are contributing to a problem, and it's easy to ignore it at the beginning. So if you're at a place where you're looking at knee surgery, you can say, oh, well, I must get the knee surgery because my bones are rubbing together. Understand that your bones didn't just begin rubbing together. This has been a long process. And I give a great example of rubbing your hands together. So if you just rub your hands together, you'll notice if you rub long enough, it will start to get hot, right? You're rubbing, you're creating friction. That friction in the medical field is actually referred to as inflammation. If I rub the palms of my hand long enough, they will get red at the bottom. If I rub them longer, I will start rubbing the skin off. If I continue to rub my palms together, I get through that initial skin layer down to the fascia, down to the muscle, then the bones start rubbing together. That takes a lot of friction in order for that to happen. And the smart person that I am, I actually stop rubbing my hands together when it becomes uncomfortable. But unfortunately, when people get to the point where they need a joint replaced, they don't realize that there have been tissues rubbing together consistently for a very long time. And that very long time is indicative of a pattern that they don't realize needs to change, or the outcome is dire to their health. So let me encourage you, because if you have had a knee replaced, if you had had a joint replaced, it's not the end of the world. There's something very important that you need to know, however, and that is replacing the joint does not attend to the pattern that caused the problem to begin with. So if you have a knee replaced, that's great. That helps your body to function better, except the pattern that caused the inflammation and the problem has not been addressed. And so you have that pattern and new hardware. And the pattern that you initially had can become a problem in other areas of your body. Now there can be an ankle problem. Now there can be a hip problem. Now there can be a back problem, even though the knee has been replaced. So if you're having trouble, if you're having a pain or a symptom, please contact me. I would love to talk with you about it. What you're seeing with regard to the pattern may not be the actual cause of the pattern. It's amazing. And what you need to do, what I encourage you to do, is actually find a health professional who can help you find the cause of the pattern that you're experiencing. I specialize in this. And I also direct people to the right health professional. I am not always the best health professional. If someone needs help with their soft tissue, muscle, and tendons and fascia, I'm great at that. But if it comes to bone, I refer out, and there are some great professionals locally and not so locally that you can get to help yourself. And remember, if you're seeing underwear on the floor of your bathroom, the cause is probably something much further back than what you're actually seeing with your eyes. And so what you're seeing can be traced back to, most likely, something that you have done or you have agreed to do, or a pattern that you are the actual cause of. So when I see my kids not brushing their teeth, not making their beds, and their clothes not in the laundry basket, the cause is not my children. The cause is, in fact, my own self and the parenting that I allow myself to practice. This is also true of pain and symptoms. The cause essentially comes back down to you. In the case of motor vehicle accidents, what I love about this is there's an initial trauma, but for those people who don't recover well to compressive force, I am one of those people. Compressive force is one of the ways in which there is an external stimulus that can show us where we need to spend more time paying attention to and making changes to. For example, I had a motor vehicle accident, and I had painful symptoms in my upper back and my lower neck that did not resolve. What I discovered is a pattern in myself of dropping my rib cage. Dropping my rib cage caused a curvature in my upper back that did not serve me, and also did not allow me to recover quickly from my accident. So there are lots and lots of effects that you see with your eyes, and I encourage you over the next week to look deeply for the actual cause of the effect that you're seeing, because what you see is not actually what you're getting. It's not actually the cause that you may attribute it to snap off the bat there. So I encourage you to share with me what causes that you're finding in your life. Start with the simple ones, the ones that you can see directly. And next time I'll talk about other cause and effects of Aristotle's the 4 laws of cause. I think that's what they call them, the 4 laws of cause. And thanks for joining me. This is Dawn Spiegelberg of Bodywise Bodywork. I may or may not have a live Facebook on Friday. I will be out of town learning how to create better results in my life, knowing that I am the cause of all of the results. So I will be back with you on Tuesday of next week, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. It's so exciting to do that time. Until then, Lauren Bullock, I hope you get well soon. And let's hope for a white Christmas this year. Happy holidays. And I look forward to being in touch with you again next week. Until then, I encourage you to think wise with your head, feel wise with your heart, and move wise with your body. Let me know what causes and effects you have in your life this week. And until next week, I look forward to touching base with you. Take good care.